signing day losers. No program entered Wednesday hotter than the Miami Hurricanes. You could practically see the steam coming off Mario Cristobal. This is a phenomenal class that includes 2 franchise offensive tackles and offers some much-needed momentum to those in the 305. However, what is currently the nation's 4th recruiting class hangs in the balance at least a little bit. The big headline of the day is that 5-star cornerback Cormani McClain delayed signing his LOI. Does it mean Miami loses McClain? I can't say and probably won't even try to guess after McClain already shocked me once, picking Miami over Florida a few months ago. Alabama and Colorado making a push, but that is what Miami hired Super Mario to do, win big battles. We'll see if this happened, but for now, Miami is a loser with an asterisk. That is what Andrew Ivins, a guy who used to cover Miami Hurricane football, said about Miami's National Signing Day. That was in his article. Let's see what he had to say on the Joe Rose show.
With everybody joins us. Andrew, how you doing?
Oh, I'm public enemy number 1. I'm doing great, Joe.
Let me ask you, I'm just curious, like, I didn't go to school there or anything, but, like, they had a really good recruiting class. Why?
One of the best in school history.
The question marks on the losing side. I just saw it. My guys were just showing me in the back. Why?
Well, I think you got to read the article. It's winners and losers from signing day, as in the day, right?
All right, so yesterday, let's act like Cormani McClain never existed. Let's take Cormani McClain. He doesn't exist in college football and high school football. The Miami Hurricane has a top 10 class with 2 offensive tackles, 5-star offensive tackles, and they beat out Alabama for Damari Brown, another top cornerback, and they added a couple players from the transfer portal for depth. That is what happened to Miami yesterday. How was that a loss?
I think Miami woke up feeling really good, and they went to sleep a little bit worried. I mean, they're one of 2 schools that had a top 32 player in the country committed that didn't sign. The other's David Hicks in Texas A&M. I mean, we'll see what happens, but the story was about signing day winners and losers, signing day as in Wednesday. I'm not taking anything away from Miami's number 4 ranked recruiting class. I love that class. They got 2 bookend tackles. They got the 2 best running backs out of South Florida. They got pass rushers. They got wide receivers. I think people are trying to twist my words and come at me, so, hey, that's fine.
You called Miami a loser. You had winners and you had losers. When you lose something, when I lose, I feel disgusted. When I lose, I feel like I need to improve. When I lose, I feel like what did we, how can you lose and have one of the best recruiting classes in school history? Like, he's not explaining that. He's telling us what's in the article. We know what's in the article. We can read, but you're not explaining that. So I guess I got to relook at the article to say, maybe I'm misinterpreting. Let's see who's a winner. Let's see who we picked as a winner, so then that could make some sense. Yesterday, the Florida State Seminoles are a winner. Holding on to 5-star receiver Hakeem Williams was massive. Oh, so you get credit for holding on to 5 stars. I guess nobody wanted Samson Okunlola. I guess nobody wanted Damari Brown. I guess nobody wanted Francis. What are you talking about? Yes, losing Kendrick Falk to Auburn hurts. A player in a premium position, but Mike Norvell made it up by closing on two-way coveted Edwin Joseph and versatile lineman Christopher Otto. So Florida State doesn't get penalized for a player flipping, but Miami gets penalized for a player possibly flipping. It's just not making sense.
Well, this is what I thought as the outside and just having you on and not following all the hardcore stuff that the Canes fans do. Even if they lose Cormani McClain, who's a heck of a player, the cornerback out of Lakeland, and whether he goes with Coach Prime or he ends up coming or he goes somewhere else and whatever it is, it's still a top 3 or 4 or 5 class. It's still really good. And there really shouldn't be anything negative. I mean, they were 5-7 in past years. If you're 5-7 or 6-6, you're losing half the guys are decommitted and long gone, right?
For sure. And it was a loser with a question mark and an asterisk. I mean, again, Miami woke up, thought they were going to get Cormani McClain, who we think is a potential difference maker. A guy on Sunday, he doesn't sign. It's a story about Wednesday, the day, signing day. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I think Miami remains optimistic about getting him in the class. Mm-hmm. I don't really buy the Colorado stuff with him. So
he's telling us what he wrote. We know what you wrote, but explain to us why you wrote it. Explain to us how Florida State is a winner and Miami is a loser. Yes, in the writing you put Miami is a loser with an asterisk, but under the column, you put bold-ass loser on it. You put bold-ass winner for Florida State and bold-ass loser for Miami.
Again, we'll see with what happens with the Cormani McClain.
So some people said it had to do with the NIL and you thought they bought their class. That's not what you think, right? That's not what you think happened. Is that correct?
Well, I think NIL is a factor in every recruitment around America. I think 90% of the kids that signed yesterday, NIL was involved. So,
I agree with that. But everybody's spending money, right? Florida State, Florida, everybody's doing the same thing. We
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes, everyone has collectives, correct.
So I just wanted to check. By the way, Damari Brown, so I get home at 3:30 yesterday, and Damari Brown, one of the top corners in the country from American Heritage Plantation, and his brother from Central Florida, Devontae Brown, had a late commitment that I think a lot of people thought he was going to Alabama because so many guys were going to Alabama, but his father and his brother his father had played there and his brother. So, I guess I was just a little surprised by the news of one guy that we don't even know if he's decommitted or not yet. We're just waiting to find out what mama and son come up with and stuff. But I guess just being on that side, just like why with all the schools that are struggling in recruiting or don't have the NIL money or whatever, because I don't think the NIL thing's completely wrong. I just was a little surprised you couldn't find somebody for a third school for that side of the board.
Joe, I was on TV yesterday for 8 hours. I was handed a piece of paper and write down winners and losers, right? Yeah. I wrote down a couple winners, a couple losers, and a Miami. Next thing you know, I turn around, there's a graphic, and I'm told to write. So,
okay.
Again, if you guys want to keep –
No.
No. This is your job. You better not try – don't you try to get on Joe. Joe just asking the questions. Don't try to get on Joe. You wrote it down. Don't try to blame this on 247. You wrote the article. They gave you a graphic and you wrote the article.
Oh, but it's out there.
If we want to talk about Miami's recruiting class and what I like about it, we can do that as well, or we can keep bringing up the fact that
no. But
an asterisk.
But you understand it. I mean,
Joe.
And just you're down here, and it's maybe the best class they've ever had. But I'm done with it. I'm done with that part. I do want to ask you though, as far as the pass rushers go, that they're able to get, starting with Ruben Bain and working your way to some of the other guys from around the country. What'd you think?
Oh, I think Ruben Bain has one of the best motors in the class of 2023. I think he's a guy that can come in and he can play some snaps. Obviously, South Florida, a kid, Miami legacy. I think he's going to come in, and Mario keeps talking about bringing guys in with the right mindset. And Ruben Bain was, to me, kind of a must-get, and I hate using that term, but they got to get more pass rushers in that building.
He was a must-get, but we don't get credit when you talk about winners or losers on signing day. He was a must-get. We got him, but we don't get credit for that.
Building, I think they're going to try to find ways to scheme him and get him on the field in certain packages. And I do think that's a monster win because I think there was a time when he was ready to go to Auburn. He kept visiting Auburn multiple times. I talked to his dad a few months ago. He brought up the fact that Nick Saban wanted his kid, and when Nick Saban's talking to you as a parent, it's a lot different. So that is a monster win for them. And maybe in other years, they don't get that kid across the finish line. So Ruben Bain, that's a big one. And if Ruben Bain and Mark Fletcher had all announced on Wednesday instead of last week, then Miami, absolutely, yes, they would 100% be a winner yesterday on signing day today. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from their class.
All right.
So why'd you call him a loser? You said we were losers on the day. No matter how you slice it, you said we were losers. There's nothing positive that can come from that.
What'd you think about Mark Fletcher? Because it sounded like Ohio State for a long.
Yeah, I don't care what he thinks about the whole recruiting class. The bottom line is he put us under the losers. I'm gonna tell you this is the bottom line. The bottom line is this: Miami should have never been on that list. If you wanted to say Miami didn't win the day because they didn't get Cremane, I can somewhat understand that. But when you say they are a loser, when you put them under the losers, you set yourself up for criticism because there's no way you can call this recruiting class a loser. There's no way you can say that Ruben Bain is a must get, but then the total class is a loser. There's no way you can give Florida State credit for them getting 1 5-star in Hakeem Williams, for them holding off, and not give Miami credit for holding off 2 offensive line tackles that multiple schools wanted. Damari Brown, Nick Saban wanted. So, here's the bottom. Two things. One, Miami should have never been under the losers list. He should have just kept them out of the article. That's just the bottom line. Secondly, he did this. They do this for clicks. Even when Miami isn't even brought up, they just bring Miami up out of nowhere, and they know that we're going to rush to it. And Andrew Ivins, he's getting upset, but the people at 247 are like, yeah. Look at how much this article got. The people at 247, they're jumping out of their seats. They're excited because the numbers is doing clicks. The tweets are doing clicks. The analytics are off the charts. And that is what they do at 247. Josh Pate. Now, Josh Pate, I love his show. But he's going to talk about Miami even when we're not that good because he knows Miami's fan base is going to do numbers. Now, when Josh Pate talks about Miami, he can back up his arguments. There are certain people on 247 who just throw Miami into articles, into segments that is not making any kind of sense. But they know that Miami fans, like you and I, we're very passionate. We'll read every article. And when you mess up, we're going to do what we're doing on Twitter. We're going to go for the deck. I'm out. Peace.